some people don't want to follow the system, let them go. If they know too much, let them go. Don't bother yourself with trying to struggle with somebody that just wants to wrestle with you all the time. Would it be okay if I show you all how to build a big business and make it as simple as possible? My background is I had no previous experience in this industry. When Eric called me, I finally answered the phone. It was a no-brainer. I actually called him from the airplane when I came back from Miami proposing to my wife. The thing is, I got started. A couple people mentioned it. Darren, Sean, you just got to get started. You got to make a decision and do it. I didn't know anything about the business. I failed the test 6 times. The day that I passed the test, I had enough volume points that qualified me to become an executive director the day I got my license because I had built a team. There's a few things I don't know about life insurance. I actually built a team of over about 600 agents now. I did it only writing 3 policies. When I tell you that I know what my strong points are, would it be okay if I share those strong points with you guys and show you how to build a massive agency so you can leave a legacy behind? Show of hands. Yeah. All right, bet. So I'm going to get down and get funky with y'all. So what I want you all to do, we're going to go through these slides. The first floor slides I want you to do is I want you to tell me what each of these slides have in common. What do y'all see in common?
Bricks.
Bricks, right? Mm-hmm. So before we move any further, I'm going to get back on the stage because I like it up here. Actually, I do this for a living. Does anybody know what mortar is to a brick? Bonds it together, right? So moving forward, I want you all to think of, every time we think of a brick, I want you to think of a business partner. Brick means what?
Business partner.
And I want you to think of the mortar as leadership. Bricks are what?
Business partner.
And the mortar is what?
Leadership.
So we ready to go. I'm going to show you guys how to build a massive agency, one agent at a time, and build it so it lasts forever. We all here to leave a legacy, yes or yes?
Yes.
All right, so here we go. First, you heard people mention it all through the conference. First, you got to put some thought into laying your foundation. The foundation is something that most people miss, the blueprint. Your blueprint is your what? Anybody know? Your business plan. How many people in here have made a comprehensive business plan for their business? We already know the answer because it's been asked a couple times, so a couple of hands went up. How many people have not? How many people didn't raise their hand? So the thing is, before you start anything, you want to have some thought, some vision. I was clear on what I wanted to do. I knew what my strong points are. I knew that I wasn't good at organization. I wasn't good at admin stuff. But I knew if I had enough bricks in place, if I had enough, what are bricks? Business partners. If I had enough business partners in place, I could run that business like a big corporation. I could put people in place. People that were good at admin. People that were good at marketing. People that were good at different things. So that's how I set my business up. But first, you got to have enough bricks. However, let's not get this twisted. This is what people miss. There's a difference between recruiting and building. Much like a builder, resourcefulness is the key in gathering the materials. You got to gather your materials. Eric and Mary just explained to you, they have resources out here that can help you grow your business. So before you get started, you have to ask yourself, how am I going to gather my resources? How am I going to attract and get some bricks on my truck? I've seen a whole bunch of people with a whole bunch of bricks that haven't done anything, can't produce nothing. How many people have seen a whole bunch of people recruit a whole bunch of people and nobody was able to do anything with a whole bunch of people? I'm those people. When I first got started, I had a whole bunch of people that I brought onto the team because I was from multi-level marketing. I knew how to gather the resources. I knew how to gather the bricks. But this industry is just a little bit different. So moving forward, I'm going to use the building and construction parallel to our business. So, becoming a master builder requires time, and it requires two things. It requires you to be coachable, and it requires you to make a decision to be coachable. Because if you come into this Xperia fold or any fold and you're not coachable, you're not going to make the results that you think probably in your head that you can make, because it's not where you're from, it's what? It's where you're at. It's not where you're from, it's where you're at. So I wanted everybody to get that part first before we move forward. So, Will Smith once said, you don't try to build a wall. You don't set out to build a wall. You don't say, I'm going to build the biggest, the baddest wall. You say, I'm going to lay this brick as perfectly as a brick can be laid, and you do that every day, and then soon you'll have a wall. What I wanted to talk about is something that people miss a lot. They talk about what usually has to be the sturdiest part of a structure. Foundation. But guess what? I'm going to show you all how to make sure your foundation is sturdy, your front wall is sturdy, your back wall is sturdy, and your side walls are sturdy. And it's going to come from taking your time and laying each brick perfect. What do I mean by that? Sean touched on it a little earlier. Darren touched on it before. First, you have to understand who you're prospecting. There have been so many times I've seen people, and Eric, I really thank you for this, because you used to do this in the car business. You got to slow down with your prospect and know who they are. You got to slow down with your prospect, know what their likes, their dislikes. You got to know what their pain points are. You have to know what their dreams and their goals are. Because guess what? Then you can circle the block and come back around and offer Xperia as a solution. So you got to understand what their mission is. How many people take the time out to understand what their prospects' missions are? Show of hands. And be real with it. You have to take time. This can take 1, 2, 3. Darren talked, no, was it Darren? Yes, Darren talked about it in one of his presentations. It might take you 10 times to talk to somebody, but show them that you care about what it is they're trying to do, and then show how Xperia can solve their problem. Now, everybody knows the company mission statement, right? Mm-hmm. The company mission statement: building financial foundations for families to empower them today and leave a legacy for tomorrow. Why is this important? When you're laying that brick down, you want to be able to understand their mission, and you want to be able to explain the company's mission so you can tie it all in, so they can buy in to what it is that the company is doing. Xperia has a mission inside the mission to acquire 10,000 agents by the end of March 2024. Woo! So then guess what you got to do too? You got to tell them what the agency or the team mission is. I know our USA X team, our mission is to have 100 executive directors by the end of 2024, and we want a piece of that 10,000 agents. We want 1,400 agents by the end of March. You got to be able to exchange this information. You got to be able to bond with your prospect. Remember, you're laying a perfectly laid what? Foundation. Okay? Where does the foundation work start? Man, it's almost like Sean and Darren and some of these other leaders were in my slides. It starts in the field. Nothing moves unless you set some field training. Nothing. You can be smart. You can know how the ins and outs of the products work. I've seen so many people get so smart that they outsmart themselves out of the business because they fail to set field training appointments. Leaders, you have to make sure when you're laying that brick, you got to make sure when you bring that person on board, when you onboard the person properly, you have to make sure that they're following the system. Part of the system is to set what? Field training appointments. Yes or yes? Yes. Why is field training so important? Field training is a cornerstone of success for both apprentice bricklayers and life insurance agents because it provides hands-on experience. It shows you how all the moving parts work. You can get all the book smart, the theory, and all of that stuff. Also, what it does is it shows you how to build relationships with clients because you're going on a field training with the expert. The expert, you ride shotgun with that expert enough. You set enough field trainings. I set over 100 field training appointments with my field trainer, Raza Bey. I'll never forget, it was June. We did $30,000 in field training. I didn't have my license. I had 30,000 AP points. The next month we did $35,000. Didn't have my license. Got 35 more thousand AP points. August, got my license. Did about another $35,000. Ooh, now I get to split. So ladies and gentlemen, this is very important. Make sure that you follow the system. Now, leadership is what? The mortar of your agency. Leadership is the mortar. You have to have good leadership. Just as mortars binds the bricks, leaders unite the agents. Leadership holds the team together, fosters collaboration, and ensures resilience, much like mortar secures bricks, to create a strong structure. Where do you develop your leadership skills? Every morning, Monday through Thursday. One place you can develop your leadership skills is at our virtual office, 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, one thing that I want to talk about, a lot of people miss plugging into our virtual office. Most people that plug in, we know you can't plug in every day. We know you can't make every morning meeting. We know that. But you don't have to miss them all either. Think about this. Pre-COVID, I would have never been a life insurance agent. Never. Without this virtual stuff, I think I would be totally out the game. You don't have to go anywhere. Wherever you are, plug in. If this could change your bank account from whatever it is and put another $100,000 in your bank account for starters, and you can't find the time to just plug in from your mobile smart device, shame on you. Not you individually. I'm not talking to anybody individually. Team trainings. USAX, we have Monday night team huddle, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and our coaches corner, 5 p.m. on Wednesdays. Again, it's the same couple of people that show up, and those are the ones that are experiencing success. Some people haven't had their breakthroughs yet, though, and don't worry about it. It's okay. Your breakthrough is coming. Just stay in the meeting. Company trainings. We have a CEO tap that is second to none. Second to none. Jamie he's got to be the coolest CEO on the planet. I tell him that all the time. There are few CEOs like him. Plug into his CEO tap. It's a couple things he's going to do for you. He's going to inspire you with some numbers. He's going to inspire you with some good news. And he's going to give you some training. Tuesdays, Darren Goka has team training, Rios training. Tuesday nights, 8 p.m., 8:15 p.m. to be exact, Eastern Standard Time. Plug in when you can. Remember, you don't have to make them all, but you don't have to what?
Miss them all.
And we have our product trainings Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, maintaining the wall or the team. Remember, think of this. Every wall that you build is the equivalent to just adding on to your team. Each brick that you build, that you lay, is just adding to your team. Sometimes your team is going to get big where it's going to spawn out of control. Ask me how I know. I got agents joining my business every day that I have no clue who they are. Don't have a clue. I can't even touch them. But because there's a system in place, some people are doing something, because every week, guess what I get? A check. And the thing is, the bigger that your team gets, just like with the wall, sometimes you're going to have to do some things to maintain the wall so it doesn't start to crumble on you. However, sometimes you're going to get what? You might get a bad brick. If you get a bad brick, there's two things you can do in the construction world. You can do what's called point the brick. That means that you kind of tap it, kind of make sure you just shore it up and put it back in place. However, if that brick is broken, just remove it. Set it to the side. Let it do what it's going to do. Just put it to the side. Don't try to force a broken brick into your strongly structured wall. Don't do it. You're going to save yourself a headache, and you're going to save that brick a headache. If you get a bad brick and it starts to deteriorate, just like an agent may join you and not be coachable, you ask, what do you do? I asked Darren that question yesterday. You let them do them. Save yourself from having to take Advil and Tylenol. Now, some of the things that you can do, just like in construction, regular inspections. Just like a brick wall needs regular inspections to identify and address any structural issues, any team issues, sometimes you have issues. You got everything from the bad brick, the water cooler meetup, folks that meet up at the water cooler, start talking, yeah, man, they just, I don't know what they doing. They got too many meetings. Anybody heard that before? Man, that's too much. I mean, how are we supposed to learn all this stuff? I ain't have to do this at my practice company. Let them water cooler people, let those bricks that start to deteriorate, let them do what they're gonna do. You wanna show up and show out for the folks that show up and show out for you. Do not spend your time with folks that don't spend time with you when you're trying to build a wall. When you got multiple bricks, you have to go back to your processes. You gotta go back to your processes and let your processes do the heavy lifting. They just gave you a whole process with Hugs Media that shows you how a tool in the toolbox can do the heavy lifting. Now, regular inspections are good. However, sometimes when your structure is, y'all see big development happening in your cities, sometimes you gotta bring reinforcement. What is that reinforcement? Reinforcement is like local events. You need the support. You need the reinforcement support. Just like adding a support to a brick wall, agency leaders should provide training and guidance to agents when they face challenges. Ongoing skill development ensures the team remains strong and capable. But guess what? Sometimes that's not enough. So what's next? Boom. Woo! Company corporate sponsored events. They're a must for expansion because being around that type of leadership is essential for building your business. What happens, ladies and gentlemen, when people come from these local events, guess what? Growth. And then you start to push, heard me say push, not pull, not drag. You push your leaders to the next event. This is what it looks like. You start building a wall and learn how to build one wall. And you learn how to build another wall. Before you know it, you have a structure. You got a structure in your hometown. Now you start building outward. You start building in other states. Now you have walls and structures being built all over the country. And you just do it one brick at a time. But this is the real thick. You hear me say it all the time, man, you are laying it down thick like brick mix. That's what this is. Now, some of the things that you're gonna need is open communication as well. You have to have open communication. Communication is essential to both scenarios in brick land. Communicating problems is vital for correction. Similarly, an open dialogue amongst agents. I know the Robinsons. I know Mr. Evans. I know myself. How many people in here are in my direct agency? How many people in here do I talk to, except for Barbara, because we're going to reconnect. But how many people in here do I talk to on a regular? I talk to all my agents on a regular. I talk to some of the agents that aren't even in my agency on a regular. Eric talks to some of the people that are in my agency on a regular. We talk to Relly's agents on a regular. Relly's agents talk to us on a regular. The whole thing is you have to have open communication. Now, leadership is the mortar. We probably have some of the best leadership in the country. Look at this leadership council right here. Effective leadership. Yeah, give it up. Clap it up. I love this picture too, and I'm mad that I couldn't get the top Jamie and Leanne's picture down. But effective leadership is the mortar that holds the agency team together. Leaders must not only provide guidance, but also be the foundation of trust, much like the mortar in a brick wall. So, where am I going with this? They talked about systems earlier, processes earlier. I know we have what's called the +1 system. This is probably the simplest system. We went from 5x10s, 3x5s, down to the +1s. If you take and wrap your head around this for 12 months, some of y'all gonna find other stuff to do. Some of y'all gonna get distracted by distractions. Some of y'all gonna make excuses, and some of y'all gonna blame Xperia for not working. But if you're a full-time I'm getting ready to take all your excuses away right now. If you're a person like Siobhan that got 8 kids, 20 jobs, coach 5 different sports, writer, actress, and probably left out some stuff, if you understand this, you can build a huge agency within a year. All the plus one system says is every month, focus. If you got paid $100,000 a year, and every month all you had to do was find one business partner and write one application, I bet you if everybody was punching somebody's clock, they would do that without hesitation. They would probably exceed that if that paycheck was in your bank account every week. Yes or yes?
Yes.
So ladies and gentlemen, don't take this business as a freebie because it didn't cost anything for you to join. Don't treat it like it's a free business. Treat it like what it is. I was blown away. Relly had to let me know, hey, John, you know you got a $3.2 million business growing? I would drop the mic, but it's not mine to drop. I was blown away. I didn't know. The thing is, if you understand how powerful this system is, you can grow a massive agency with the one brick at a time concept. I'm going to tie it up with this, ladies and gentlemen. In summary, just as you maintain a brick wall stability through inspections, reinforcement, communication, maintaining a cohesive team of life insurance agents involves regular assessments, skill development, open communication, team building events, and strong leadership. These strategies ensure that the team remains aligned. Remember, the bad bricks, put them to the side. You want to make sure your team is aligned. Everybody is on the same page. If some people don't want to follow the system, let them go. If they know too much, let them go. Don't bother yourself with trying to struggle with somebody that just wants to wrestle with you all the time. I stopped doing that. My life became easy. Eric can email everybody these slides. Just ask them he'll email you these slides, because hopefully, and ready to face the challenges in an ever-evolving insurance business. Now, everybody, go out and build an empire one agent at a time and one client at a time. Thank you. That's my time.
All right, so amazing, John. That was awesome. I saw your book. I know it's got to be something.
Thank you.
I can't wait. I want to make sure I get a copy of that. But listen, my question that really strong for me was, and you guys know I've been in the industry since I was 19 years old, off and on. And this is one of those, it's almost like in the whole industry, it's like, it's a gut sickness. And I've seen whole agencies get infected by it and can't overcome it. But you came in with a pure gut. And then you just came in with no license. And you, like you quantum leap past thousands of people in the industry, Doc. You don't really understand really the full magnitude of what you did, but you quantum leap past thousands of people in the industry because you didn't have this gut poison that we have. So with this question I'm asking is, when you started training with Raza, in your soul, why was it okay that you didn't have a license, but you put $30,000 in premium on Raza's books, and you put, I don't know how many agents in Experior, and you did not get a license, and then you leaped past the entire industry, not just here, but past the entire industry. What was it that
go ahead.
made it okay for you to do that? Because you right here, agents like, yeah, I got this person told me they need some life insurance.
I got you. Let me do this for time's sake. Do y'all understand the question that she asked?
Yeah.
How was I cool with giving somebody $30,000 in a month and $30,000 in a month and maybe $10,000 in a month? And those were just the first 3 months. I brought Raza in, and for 2 months I was building them up. Man, I got this guy. And Darren and Jamie were like, okay, and Myron, and everybody's like, okay, you got this guy. Everybody has a guy. So when I brought him in, I was like, yes, he signed up. And he didn't do anything for 2 months. So when we got started, I already had a relationship with Raza. I already knew who he was. I already knew what he was capable of. I showed him Experior because the instruction we got from Darren and Jamie was, we can't help you all, find somebody that knows insurance. Is that it? Okay, good. Eric, I got my guy. Talked to my guy, said, guy, can you put your eyes on this and just tell me if this is a scam or whatever, because I don't know. He was like, dude, if this does what I think it can do, I'm joining you. He joined me. I already knew the value of riding shotgun with a guy like that for as long as you could for free. But it wasn't for free. I was planting my money seeds. So many people, they have the greed seed where they say, you know what? I'm not going to give away my deals. I ain't giving away I can learn this from the company. And guess what? The company, most of these companies teach way over your head. That's why I pointed back to the field training. Rochelle, you talk about it all the time. Field training. When me and Eric first got started, Eric and I were really competitors. And he was like, Jock, how are you getting $6,000 per application? Per application. I was like, set the appointments, Eric. Eric was like, nah, he lying to me. He lying. Miriam will figure it out. Is that a true statement? So what I'm saying is you got to understand how valuable the
Now,
field
keep in mind,
training.
I wasn't mad if he was lying because I still got the override. Okay? So let's be clear. I wasn't mad about the lie, but I thought he was still holding
Now
back.
remember, the first 2 months that I didn't have my license, guess where that money went? Rally and Eric.
We wasn't mad about the lie. I'll just say that.
So I'm trying to get everybody to understand really the part that I think most people miss. We have a system in place. Follow the system. I don't care where you're from. It's where you're at. Follow the system. So people can duplicate it. Because Rochelle, you're a superstar. You can't duplicate you. You can't show anybody in this room how to be Rochelle. Siobhan can't show anybody how to be a Siobhan. Relly can't, you just can't. You have to put a system in place. That's why when people look at me side-eyed and funny and like, okay, what's he talking about? He don't know what he's talking about. Okay, I'm going to lay my brick, one brick at a time. Any other question?
Dr. Teresa?
Just 2 adjectives, if you would, to just share with us how you determine the right brick, like what you initiated. What things did you see in him that made you believe that he was the right brick for your foundation?
That's a good question. I had known him for 15 years prior. He had been trying to recruit me into his business for 12 years. True story. And then I'm going to be done. I played music. Roz used to fly into D.C. every weekend. And on Fridays, he would show up at my event. He didn't look like my normal go-go crowd. So, because I managed the group, I had to ask, hey, what's your name and what are you doing here, buddy? Because I was like, this guy's either selling arms or drugs. It's one or the other. Pakistani in here with all these black guys and women. It wasn't a fit. But after we talked, he was like, man, I'm a musician. Your band is tight. And every week I fly into town. I was like, well, what are you doing flying in town? He's like, well, I'm an insurance agent. Well, you fly in from Texas to every week for like 6 months. And I said, look, buddy, this is my town. Let me know what I need to do, and you can go to another city, and I'll do this. And so I studied for my test. I was going through a divorce back then and stuff, so it just wasn't time. But we were great friends, and he just kept trying and kept trying and kept trying. And I said, hey, Rosa, because I knew he had built teams of hundreds and hundreds twice. And I knew he was a trainer at some of the big insurance companies. So I knew he was the right brick. Sometimes you might not know that it's the right brick. You just got to put people in the process.
All right, you know what, sir? Can I help you with that answer, too?
Yes.
I'm helping Dr. Teresa. Right brick. Okay, let's do this. When I pass you the mic, I just want to say your name and what city you're from.
Michelle Dickerson, Virginia Beach.
Lisa Williams from Upper Marlboro, Maryland.
Tawana Chesley, Upper Marlboro, Maryland.
Naja Phillips, Washington, D.C.
All right, this is Jock's Brick Wall. Those are people who all personally sponsored by Jacques Vaughn. So we say, who's the right bricks? It ain't just the rods and bags.
Right.
That's the shiny brick. He still got right bricks all around. Everybody can be a right brick.
And in closing, right, it's 3 ways that you can get a champion on your team. 1, they can fall out of the sky. Highly unlikely. 2, you can pay for a superstar. Some people may have the money, some people might not. But when I say a superstar, I'm talking somebody that can come and put millions of dollars into your agency like it's nothing. So most people won't have that type of money. Or, that's the part that people miss. You can develop the superstar. You spend time with the superstar. That's really, if you slow down enough to speed up, if you just put 1 brick in place every month for 12 months, and then you show them how to do the same thing, within a year, I forgot we did the math. You remember what it was? But it's a big agency. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Mr. Jacques Vaughn.